This full moon at 2 degrees Sagittarius is going to be the best full moon of the year. I'm going to tell you all why. But before I get into that, I have a very exciting announcement to make. Finally, my new website, optimizinghuman.com, is up and it's live. Please go check it out. And I'm giving away a free ebook that describes basically what I do, right? Which, beyond astrology, I decrypt the language of the human body and the human mind. And when people come to me, I help them understand where the knots or the blockages are in their mind, in their body. And then I create tools to help them move through it, move past it, detoxify from it, and get on their path to their mind heart coherence, which my philosophy is spiritual bodybuilding. With all that. So if you're interested in seeing more of what I do and working with me one-on-one or in a group setting, go check that out. Leave your email in the comment section below if you would like me to send you that free ebook. Okay, so I'm making some changes here. I'm trying some new things. Please, guys, let me know what you like, and what you don't like, and we're going to get into it. So full moon is at 2 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, this full moon, because we have the two benefics, right, Jupiter and Venus, that are both conjunct at 29 degrees of Taurus, and they're sextile over to Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is very strong. If you think of Neptune, well, if you think of Taurus first and foremost, right? Taurus is a fixed energy, and we've had Jupiter in Taurus for the last year, and Jupiter is getting ready to move into a new sign. So this is sort of like a culmination point, all the learning stuff that we've learned from Jupiter, and we have the other benefic, which rules that particular sign, that's conjuncted, saying, hey guys, you got this, right? Like, you learned what you need to learn. And Jupiter in Taurus was really about embodying the understanding and energetic comprehension of where our body is in most alignment, what our desires are, what we really want in life at a deep soul level, right? Because Taurus is all about our desires, things that make us feel good, right? Things that, it's all about, your self-worth, and that's also predicated upon, what you believe or you feel you're worthy of. So being a fixed energy as well and being connected to the physical body, and especially with Uranus there as well, which represents the central nervous system, our nervous system has been getting worked, right? Like, we've been learning some lessons. I know I have. And with this Taurus energy, Taurus is very stubborn, but also very strong, very, very grounded, right? So we've been needing to work to ground all of this energy for the last year to get real with ourselves. Like, what do we really want? And if it's trauma talking or if it's the ego talking, things have been going not so great, right? Like, you've been bumping up against walls and you've been having a lot of issues manifesting things that you felt like you wanted and deserved. But if there's a blockage there, then Jupiter was going through there saying, hey, let's bring this to light. Let's identify these blockages, because we're coming into this new energy next year that is fully opening our heart. We're fully stepping into our gifts, but we cannot embody these gifts if we're still holding on to that baggage, right? So this full moon is like saying, the image in my mind that comes into my head is the feeling I had when I jumped out of an airplane the first time, right? I've been doing a lot of training. I was in airborne school in the Army many, 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 many years ago. And during the process, right, like, we have this little contraption, you go down this little zip line and you jump and you do your little, parachute landing fall or PLF, and you practice over and over and over and over and over again. That's been the last year of Jupiter and Taurus, right? Then for the final exam, so to speak, you got to go do 5 jumps, right? Now you're in this place with a whole lot of other people, all those other people or all the other souls around you that are doing this work. And you're standing there and you practiced this 1,000 times. Stand up, hook up, shuffle to the door. You got your jump master there waiting for the red light to go green. This is the moment, right? When the red light is about to turn green and they open the door, and then you're like, oh, fuck, this is real. Right? A little pee might come out, right? Then all of a sudden, all the emotional stuff about realizing that you're about to jump out of a perfectly good airplane and you don't know what to expect. All your adrenaline's pumping like crazy. And when you have the emotional components that all come together like that, there's a certain level of like, holy shit factor that comes into the process. But then once light turns green, right? This is the moment where light turns green, because literally 2 days after this, Jupiter goes into Gemini. And I'm going to make a separate video all about that, right? But this is where, okay, the awareness comes up of the very last thing that we got to let go of. To finally, now it's fully embodied. So whatever work that you've done is the level and depth of the work that your soul can do, right? Now it's time to shift to a mutable energy. Both Sagittarius and Gemini are both mutable energies. Now it's like time to step into that next chapter, which is the experience of all the training that you've been doing to get there, right? So now you jump out of the plane. And I remember my first time, I was screaming like a little girl. Ah! I jumped out. I closed my eyes. I relied on my training though, and I went through the action of it. And going through that action of it, right? Suddenly, I'm falling, and then I get pulled back. My parachute opens up. Okay, check this. Okay, woo! All right, looking around. Wow. The feeling of floating in the air and just seeing the view and being in that process. It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. What was I so scared about? The fear is the fear of the unknown, right? But now it's known, and then you go through 4 more times, and each time that feeling comes up a little bit, but you get a little bit more used to it every time. But the important thing to remember is that all this training that you've done to embody and embed all these energies, especially with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that happening, right? That started a new 14-year process of embedding these codes inside your central nervous system to energetically know how to handle these things, even if your mind doesn't understand how to comprehend it or how to wrap your mind around it. We've been doing soul level work, right? So all these upgrades and activations, it's like things are happening beyond our mind's comprehension. And this is why trust and surrender is so important, because the more you try to control and understand what's going on, the more you're going to hurt yourself. Imagine as you're walking out of the door, going to jump out this airplane. Like, wait a minute. I need to know what it feels like when I step out of this door before I step out of the door. I need you to explain to me what it feels like so I can intellectually understand it. In real life, you get laughed at. Or you'll get, like in the army, they'll kick you out of the door, right? Too bad. And I kind of feel like the universe right now is just kicking you out of the door. But it's for your own best good, because we are coming into this new place next year that is requiring us to be clear of all these limitations, all this baggage. Okay. And this Jupiter in coming into Gemini is its mutable energy. So we're really getting ready to activate a lot of changeable alchemical energies to step into this new place. And really, the biggest lesson that you can learn, if you could just remember this one thing, just to allow whatever is changing, whatever is unfolding, to unfold. Jupiter and Venus sextile Neptune, all at 29 degrees, is a major turning of the page. It's a major ending and new beginning. Okay. Now, depending on where you're at in your journey, right? Everybody is in a different place and dealing with it in their own way. Depending on where you are, there's going to be some things that are going to make you feel like you're going crazy. There's going to be some things that you're questioning about, deep, existential kind of questions. What is the meaning of life? What, like, for 2 years, 2021 and 2022, I was obsessed with death. I had 2 of my best friends die, right? Like, I didn't even know how it was affecting me until it unfolded over time. And that was a very difficult experience for me to go through. Understanding even my own relationship to death. Like, why am I still alive? I've survived so much stuff. I don't understand why I'm still alive. Because, like, I feel like I should be doing more, right? because it's not about doing. That's still I've been letting go of all these old patterns, and you have too, right? We all have. So as you're releasing and as you're surrendering, things are going to come up that make no sense. But the more that you let it move through you, right? Neptune at 29 degrees is about allowing the energy to move where it's going to move and surrendering to it, because we're purging out all these deep stuff that we can't consciously comprehend. And when we let go of it, we start to realize that, okay, I had a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, especially with all the solar activity that, felt really murky and wild and whatever, but I'm okay, right? Like, I don't need to know what's going on. I don't need to figure it all out because I have faith. It's the people that are trying to control, the people that are consumed by fear, or the people that are consumed by doing that are going to get hit the hardest with this. They're going to feel like they're going crazy because it speeds up the mind. And there is so much activity happening in the world right now that if you don't train your mind to slow down in some way, shape, or form, eventually your mind's just going to break. It's going to snap, and it's going to go, it's going to go off on its own, and you're going to sort of lose control of it in the negative way. You want to let go of control, not lose control. Okay. So we also have Saturn here coming up to 18 degrees. Now, Saturn is going to be going retrograde next month. All right. So the energy of Saturn is going to come to 19 degrees, just one more degree, and then it's going to retrograde. But this is Saturn in the second decan, okay, is significant in that we are right smack in the middle of this lesson of surrender and of allowing, but also structuring the surrender in a new way. We're ending a 30-year cycle, guys. Okay. And because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, everybody is really feeling this. Like, no matter where it is in your chart of who you are, these are deeply, deeply embedded systems in our consciousness that are hitting us very deep, because collectively we're all moving through this now together since 2020. And we are clearing out lifetimes upon lifetimes and stuff. We're literally put the old book down, and we're starting to write a new book next year. So this year is really the transitioning and culminating energy in the bigger chapter of our life. Now, also during this full moon, Mars has made it to 17 degrees of Aries, and it had just conjuncted the North Node. So when Mars conjuncts the North Node in its home sign, and by the way, the North Node had been sitting at 15 degrees for like a month and a half during the eclipse time. So now it's finally moving forward, which means once Mars crosses over the North Node, all right, it started a new chapter between Mars and Saturn, right? It made an agreement with Saturn. All right, we're going to step up in our divine masculine. We're going to do better and be better and take different kind of action. Now that it connected with the North Node in Aries, it solidifies that action-taking potential. And because now the North Node is moving again, all right, we are now in the more of like the first 15 degrees of the nodes when it's going through its cycle is like the buildup in the roller coaster ride, right? It's the learning, it's the clearing, it's the understanding. 15 degrees was the top. Now 14 degrees and further is now us coming down. All right, taking action, moving forward, stepping out in the world. Jupiter heading into Gemini, same thing. Communicating, connecting, building communities, stepping out into the world from all the work that we've just done collectively. Okay, you're going to see a lot of change happening now. And this full moon is kicking it off, because what is Sagittarius? It's about, let's great ideas, right? It's travel. It's wanting to understand everything, right? You ever met like a Sag moon? They're always cracking jokes, and they're just always fucking funny and happy and like, talking shit and like a fun and jubilous kind of way. Jubilous, if that's a word, or maybe I just made it up. I don't know, but maybe jubilous is a word that I would describe Sagittarius as. And being at the very beginning of that sign means that this is like a new beginning. There's a lot of new beginnings as we're shutting old doors. Just stop resisting shutting the old door. Okay. Right now is a good time to get checkups, right? Get blood work done. Really focus on your nutrition, your diet, right? With all this powerful energy now at the master collective degrees of Taurus, this is a very benefic energy. Now, when I say benefic, it means it's opportunity to fix, clear, heal, optimize things. Being optimized human. Did you catch that? So with Jupiter and Venus, it's like, hey, you have every opportunity in the world to start the life that you want, that you've been dreaming of. This is like having the energy there to start it, but it's like you got to take action. You got to step into it, and the universe is going to be nudging, like, hey, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Right? The key is that we've been so entrained in our patterns and behaviors, and there's so much distraction out there that you can get really caught up in the distractions or caught up in the unhealthy habits if you're not very careful. What I've noticed lately is that there are two significant different motivations that people are living by right now. One motivation is slowing down, inner care, surrender, allowing and trusting. Maybe you don't have everything that you want right now, or everything you think you want, but you're allowing the energy to move through you so that you can be in the higher vibration and you can come into being and attract, as opposed to be out there doing. Now, granted, once the attraction happens, there's a mix of being and doing. It's more about being in a state of being while you're doing and knowing your limitations and not pushing yourself too far. Then there's the other side where it's more about you're doing, and you're going, and you're always exhausted. You can't get sleep, and you can't catch up, and you're just going, and you're allowing the external world to pull you in all these different directions. That, my friend, if you're one of those, you got to be careful because you are going to collapse eventually. There is no way that you can maintain that. It's like being pulled. All your limbs being pulled. You know how they used to torture people back in the day? Well, this is like a spiritual thing where they have like 4 horses and they pull all your limbs in all directions and you're just stretching until something breaks. That's what you're energetically doing to yourself, right? You're spreading yourself too thin, and you're probably taking care of everybody else, but not yourself. If that is you, come talk to me. Let's get yourself squared away and aligned, because that means you're too much in your head, not enough in your heart, right? And somehow these people, and I don't know how the hell they do it, because I couldn't do it. I'm more on the slow down. That's why this is an Aura ring that I just bought to optimize my sleep. I just got some CFR done, craniofacial release, to help my sleep apnea, and getting blood work done and making sure that I'm, healthy, because I'm getting up there where I need to make sure that, my diet's on point, my sleep's on point, everything is good, or else, disease imbalanced states could start to form. All right. Now, we all have imbalances to a certain degree, and to a certain degree, part of that is being, allowing and accepting. But if you're if you're constantly reacting to the outside world, even if it's good stuff, even if it's like bringing you a lot of, whatever, money, attention, like, could be anything, something that you feel like you want. But whatever we want that's outside of us, right? If we're seeking outside of us for anything, then that's us not being in our heart, right? Because everything that we need and we want is within our heart. And when we're in our heart, we attract the things our heart wants. And sometimes we get to sacrifice some of the ego's desires, right? Like, I have an amazing relationship right now. I don't have the money that I want, but I know it's coming, right? I had to establish the inner peace first and learn to love myself and my partner in a stable and consistent way so that there's no more chaos in my life. Back in the day, I used to have a lot of chaos in my life, right? I don't anymore. And it's a very different way of being for me. Now that I've learned how to be like that, I can never go back. Never, right? I've finally aligned my central nervous system. And that's the deep work that everybody's going to need. I mean, so many people are going to be needing this kind of work. And this is why the biohacking industry and the healing industry and the plant medicine industry is blowing up like crazy because so many people are out of alignment. And then it's easy to get caught up and just you go do a ceremony or you go get a massage and then you just go back to your crazy life. You got to be careful with that. Okay. So this full moon at 2 degrees of Sagittarius is showing us what's possible, but you have to be careful not to get caught up in, okay, I see what's possible. Now I'm going to go after it. Now maybe you want to take some action, but going after it should be first a state of being and feeling at peace and loving the idea and wanting to create, right? And then when you do that, like, okay, well, I need to take this step number one here first. All right, well, step number one, okay, get that done. All right, now I need this resource. All right, well, fully focus on that resource. How's it going to come in? That resource comes in. Okay, now I need this. How am I going to get that done? Right, and come at it with a creative playfulness that is setting your soul on fire, so that, like, how when you're in flow state, time stands still. Right? Like when you're really in the zone and you're loving what you're doing, whenever I'm facilitating a ceremony, I am so in the zone that it goes by like that. I wish it would last longer. Right? Because I absolutely love being able to help people and show them what's going on in their consciousness, in their mind. And even showing them where their physiological imbalance is. And a lot of times people know what they're doing, but for whatever reason, we need a little kick in the ass. We need to be shown, hey, like this is connecting these dots. You know that this is going on. This is just validation for you. But then when you call someone out, of course, in a loving way, then the people that really want to grow and change, they're going to see it. And they're going to take action on it because now they have to take responsibility once it's been called out, right? So we all lie to ourselves to some extent, some degree, shape, or form, and it's really, really important, especially with right now with Chiron. Now Chiron's at 21 degrees. And so that's the third decan of Aries. So this is the grand I am. This is our identity. And it could be our identity as a mother or father, as a lover, as an athlete, right? As an influencer, as an astrologer, as whatever it is that you identify as, right? So the questions are always coming down about how to do this better, how to do that better, right? So there's a big balancing act here, especially right after the total solar eclipse. This is a new beginning of accepting that we are all a part of a bigger picture here, right? This is really giving us a cut and dry final choice. So this next 6 months, right? We're right in the middle. Actually right in the beginning of this this 6 month process that will really start kicking off now. This full moon's kicking it off big time because of the connection with Jupiter, Venus, and the Sun now being in Gemini. It's mutable, right? And we've been in this Pisces, Aries, Taurus energy for a long time. long time it feels like, doesn't it? But now it's going to finally start moving forward. Especially what I'm actually really excited about this Gemini energy is that it's actually very more cerebral, but in the sense that it makes people want to, be more extroverted and get out there and get together and share ideas and, create community in a more meaningful manner, right? And this is going to show us whose souls are really in it for creating this new world and who's not. All of our truths are going to be exposed here in the next 6 months. All right. So whatever comes up for you or whatever needs to be let go of for this Sagittarius full moon, allow it to teach you, because there's so much beneficial energy here that you're going to be able to see your deepest truth. However, when I say benefic energy, it's benefic for change and for growth. And if you are not ready and willing to surrender, to let go, to see your truth, then it's going to be shown to you in a very difficult way. And that difficulty may trick you into believing that, the benefic energy is bullshit. No, it's not bullshit. It's just you have work to do. And the floodgates are opening up to allow you to do the work, but you have to take the action to step into it. Right? We all have to take action to step into whatever it is that's coming up right now. So take that action, Step into this process and allow it to mold you into the highest vibrational version of yourself, and continue the process, because things are going to start changing in a big, big way. All right. We also have Pluto here retrograde at 2 degrees 0 minutes. So we're integrating a lot of energy from wherever Pluto is in your chart. And this energy can be quite uncomfortable. But again, the universe is giving us every opportunity to be able to integrate, to learn, to move through it. So even if things feel challenging, particularly in the physical body or in the mind, okay, because Aquarius is very cerebral. It's a fixed cerebral energy. I'm an Aquarius moon, so we can get stuck in our emotional ways or ideas, or even just become so overwhelmed that we can just disconnect or like detach in a healthy or unhealthy way. There's such thing as healthy detachment and unhealthy detachment. So being the conscious observer of how you connect, how you attach, how you detach, right? How you are able to observe your own behavior patterns. Like in your mind, if you step back from it and you observe what you're doing, you know what you're doing. But you have the courage and the bravery to take the action steps to do the right thing for your heart. Or if you had to have a difficult conversation, what if you fucked up or did something, that you're not proud of because of whatever difficult situations in your life? We're all facing those kind of scenarios, right? So, and in order to be able to really face that stuff, you need to be in a safe place. You need to feel like you're safe to be vulnerable and to not be judged. All right. It's another thing that I've learned that I'm very good at, creating a safe space, because when I'm reading someone's chart, or if I'm looking at their microscopy, or if I'm doing FST on them, or if we're doing some combo or medicine work, it just speaks to me, right? I've learned to decrypt the language of the human body, and I can feel and see what's going on in there. And I'll point things out. And ultimately, what I like to do is help you come to your own conclusion about what's going on. Because when you come to your own conclusion by catching little breadcrumbs, then that's, oh my God, wow, that makes so much sense. Okay, I'm going to handle that now. I'm going to take responsibility for it because I see it. Okay? So I hope this message resonates. If it does, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to work with me, go to my website, optimizinghuman.com, and I'll see you all on the next video. Have a wonderful full moon in Sagittarius.